All right, you welcome back. The reason I know I'm recording a video very late, right? So I have very interesting topic today because most of you, whoever is subscribed to my channel, I know like I'm making content like copywriting and freelancing stuff, but I know this is the most painful thing that someone would ever do is like sending outreaches. And because I have sent multiple outreaches on Instagram, emails, I know like how most of the people can relate with this and why outreach sucks, right? So you probably know like you have sent hundreds of cold emails, DMs, and LinkedIn messages, whatnot, and felt like nobody cares because don't worry, it happens and it happens to all of us because one outreach like cannot give you instant response. And this is the worst thing someone could ever do. So let's get into it because I'll tell you right now, outreach sucks. But the truth is, it's not the outreach itself, it's the way you do it. I've been sending outreach for like over 1 year and I closed clients like from Europe, Netherlands, and I've been able to manage to get like my first $1,000 clients within this year. So there are a few things that I changed, and I also changed few other things related to my mindset. So that's how I was able to close a client worth $1,000 and not $1,000, €1,000. So let's get into it straight because it's the way you do it. It's not the outreach itself that is the problem. I know it sucks, but let's see how you can fix it. The problem with outreach is, or the problem with you is, you are using spammy templates like hey, first name, yada yada yada. First of all, whenever you are sending your next outreach, don't use the hey because it's unnecessary, right? You can just use the first name and continue your pitch. Second, you are using generic messages, no research, copy paste. So you are making it feel like you have not put enough effort, right? And the third most important thing, when you are sending your outreach, it feels more of like you are begging them. It's like you are in the need of something. You're not your prospect or not the client that you are sending the outreach to. It's like you are in the problem, so they should help you instead of you are offering them value. So instead of begging them like this, start to offer value, something for free, something for a trial, something like a loom, right? First of all, you need to go through these and then just try to fix this in your outreach so that you can see the value itself. The next thing is, you have heard about the Newton's third law of motion, right? For every equal action, there is an an opposite reaction. So look into this. If you are not putting efforts into your outreach, why do you think your outreach is going to work in the first place? Or why do you think like it's going to give you the result that you expect from your outreach, right? So this law applies to everything and it's a universal law. So try to first fix these mistakes and then I will tell you what else you can do, right? The next thing is, if you're not putting efforts, you're not going to get response, which is fair and equal, right? So what you need to do is you need to first of all change your paradigms, because I feel like a lot of people who do outreach, even myself, I used to struggle with that. I used to send outreach like a day or two and then I used to be tired because there was no response. I used to not take follow-ups properly. I used to not personalize the message. Sometimes I used to just copy paste the same thing that I mentioned you before. So I have made all these mistakes and then I realized, okay, if I'm not putting efforts into my outreach, then why the hell someone would respond to me? And this is the same problem I feel like most of the people make. They are using the same templates given by the chat GPT, or like they will see a YouTube video and then they will copy the entire script and then they will try to use the same thing. It happens. I know a lot of people who watch me are beginners. I was at the same place as you at one time, so I know this is a thing, but here's the change comes, right? Instead of sending outreach like pitching strangers, what you can do is start outreach with an intention of creating a real connection or starting a real conversation. Don't just be a person who is just trying to pitch, right? Just be someone who is trying to genuinely make a connection with them and genuinely try to starting a conversation. This change of perception always helps because it helped me personally. When I was trying to outreach to people, I used to think like, okay, now I need to sell them something and I need to make the sale. But when I started to make a conversation with them, the whole dynamics changed, right? People started to give a response. It's okay sometimes, like you're not going to get a response instantly, but when you are trying to help them with intentions, you are more likely to get a response from them. The next thing is, instead of being a salesman, instead of trying to knock every door, instead of being a salesman, what you can do is first try to give and then ask later. If you're not providing value at all to your customers or to your prospects, then you are missing on a big opportunity. Because see, look into this perspective, they are getting hundreds of cold DMs or maybe thousands of email per day, for example, if it's a big client or a very famous person, right? What makes you stand out if you're not providing the value, right? So that's the very important reason, like give value first and then ask for something later. If they don't see the value in it, then it's very high likely like they're not going to respond to you and they are not going to give a fuck about you, like you are no one to them. Few other things for beginners, right? Keep track of everything when you're starting to outreach, when you're starting to send your cold emails or your cold outreach on Instagram or whatever platform it might be. Keep the track of everything. It will help you to, first of all, like make sure you have a track of every day the outreach you send, the number of outreach you send, because it will help you to build the system. It will help you to understand like what's your limit and how much you can do every day and how you can improve this, right? The next thing is build the first initial momentum, because I know outreach sucks, it's a very boring part. So instead of thinking like I will send 30 DMs per day, 30 emails per day, or any particular target that you have, right? Start small. It doesn't matter if you want to send 30 or 300. You have to first start small. And if you start with the personalization method or semi personalization method, as I talked in the previous video, then you can also start with 7 or 10, right? It's very easy. Like 7 or 10 personalized email is not a big deal. So even 5 is not a big deal, right? If we are talking about Instagram particularly. And once the initial momentum is built, then you can start to scale it up, because if you don't see the results, you can pivot to any other moment, right? You can change few things, you can change few lines and few here and there, but you have to keep the track of everything and then build the initial momentum. The next thing is, once these two things are like perfectly in your place, then what you can do is set up a target. Okay, if you're sending 15, then go for 20, 25, and then 30. Eventually scale it up, because at the time, once you start getting clients, once you start getting responses, then you can see the value itself. Then you can see if this thing is working for you or not, and then try to set a target. Like if you are sending 15 DMs per day, for example, and you are sending it for next 7 days, then you can see if the responses are getting there or not. If there's no response, then maybe pivot to something else. If there is some response, then maybe set up a target. Okay, you are doing 15, now you can target for 20, and then it compounds eventually. So that's it. That's pretty much it for any person who is struggling to send their first outreach or first email. Make sure these things are there and you are not being a seller, instead of you are being a person who has intention to help them, right? So that's pretty much it, and thank you for your time.